All right, I have 5:01, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to thank everybody who has taken the time to log in tonight to check out a little bit about what's going on with the Houston Accelerated Scholars Program. So before we begin going over everything, I wanted to take just a couple of minutes and tell everyone who all is in the room as far as the directors and coordinators of this program and teachers, and a little bit about how this is going to work. And I'd just like to introduce my team that I've been working with to make this happen. And I'll begin by introducing Miss Alethea Thomas. She is our Director of AP and Gifted and Fine Arts and lots of other things, I believe, too. Next, we have Tom Seward. Mr. Tom Seward is Director of CTAE. And we have Dr. Cassie Raitt is the coordinator of 6 through 12 math, and Dr. Nicole Page, who is the coordinator of 6 through 12 science. Also joining us, we have Mr. James Brock, who will be teaching the math courses. And unfortunately, Mr. John Fitzgerald, who's going to be teaching the physics courses, could not join us tonight because he had a vacation that was already scheduled before this meeting was scheduled. So he asked me what to do, and I said, you go off with your family and you have a good time at vacation. That's what you do. So I hope that you will excuse his absence, but I'm sure he is here with us in spirit. And my name is Elgin Mayfield, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning for the Houston County School District. So we're going to start off today by talking about what is the Houston Accelerated Scholars Program. Now you're going to say, wait, we saw this presentation in the video, but we are going to take the time to expand on that a little bit and explain a little bit more. But most importantly, I want you to know how we're going to handle questions. So because this is really an opportunity for you to ask questions. So in the chat box, I have put in the chat box to please send us the questions that you have in the chat box, because each of the folks, Dr. Raitt, Mr. Seward, Ms. Thomas, Dr. Page, they're all waiting on those questions to come in so that they can answer them. And we want to make sure that we try to get them answered. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to answer the questions in the chat, but if we have the same question several times, one of those wonderful people is going to kind of interrupt what's going on to tell us, hey, I've been asked this question several times, and this is something that you all obviously have a concern or a question about, so let's address it, okay? So that's kind of how this is going to go. So long story short, I'm going to talk till someone interrupts me. So feel free to interrupt as that time comes along. And guys, again, this is your opportunity to ask questions. So please, please feel free to ask any questions that you would like to ask. Okay, so first thing I want to do is talk about what is the Houston Accelerated Scholars Program, kind of how it came to be. So one of the things that we want to make sure of is that our students have the same opportunities as those students that live in Metro Atlanta or in large metropolitan areas, where they have these courses and these opportunities that are offered to them, because what we want to make sure of is that those classes are ones that are often used for those elite universities, those Caltechs, those MITs, even Georgia Tech. They're also used by the Ivy League schools. And we just want to make sure that if that's what our students want in their future, that they have an opportunity to have taken those courses to be sure that they are strong candidates for those types of schools. So we're really looking for students that are interested in hyper advanced math and science. So you're going to find out that this is like AP. Yes, that's true. These are AP classes, but in my mind, I keep calling them kind of like AP plus, because they are stronger than just your typical AP class. And we're going to talk about that as we go through. There's something you need to know, and you are welcome to share this with your friends that you may have been talking to or texting with or whatever, that we want you to know this was not sent out to all high school students. You were handpicked to receive the information about the Houston Accelerated Scholars Program. You were handpicked to get invited to this Zoom, and you were handpicked to find out about the website. And the reason that's so important is because you are the students that this is aimed for. You are that top echelon of students in the Houston County School District. It doesn't matter which school you go to. It doesn't matter if you're a student at Northside, Warner Robins, HOCO, Perry, or Veterans. That is completely irrelevant. You are one of the top students of our entire school district. And we wanted to invite you to participate in these courses because these are courses designed for you. These are courses designed for those just gifted students that really would like a challenge, that really can do more than is asked, even in the AP classes. This is for you. This is for those students that are just in the top echelon of the students in Houston County. So before I even go any further, I just want to say congratulations on even being invited to be here. That is quite an accomplishment, and you should be proud of yourselves. Parents, if you're listening for your children, you should be proud of your child for being invited to this. This is a huge deal that they got invited. We invited, just so you have an idea here, there are about, no kidding, 10,000 students that we could have chosen from for this, and we chose about 560 to invite to this. So we are talking about that top student performer. So congratulations on being here. And what I'd like to do is start off by talking about our math classes. And here we go. So the first thing we're going to offer is a AP Pre-Calculus Enhanced Advanced Algebra. Now, Advanced Algebra is what we call Algebra 2. So this is what follows Algebra 1. But the reason we're calling it Enhanced is because we're not teaching it across a full school year like you would typically do. So what happens for most of our honor students is that they take algebra in 8th grade, honors algebra in 8th grade, then they take geometry in 9th grade, and then they take honors algebra in 10th grade. Now, notice I didn't use the letters A or P in any of that. It's honors, then it's honors geometry, then it's honors algebra 2 or advanced algebra. But what this does is it crams the honors advanced algebra into one semester, and then the second semester is AP Pre-Calculus, which is another full year. But we have crammed it into AP Pre-Cal into just that semester so that it does a couple of things. One, it's going to open up the door moving down the road for your student or for you, moving down the road to take classes we've never even offered before. And also, it's going to allow you as a sophomore to take an AP math class. So it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of those extra points that come along in those AP classes. So for those of you that are concerned about, and I think it's great that you're in here. For those of you concerned about valedictorian, salutatorian, top 10 in your class, those kinds of things, those AP classes are going to help you. And the fact that you have an opportunity to take one as a sophomore is a huge deal. Okay? In math, I mean. So then let's talk about our other class. Our other class that we're offering in math this upcoming year is the AP Calculus AB BC. So what basically happens, and Dr. Ray could talk more to this, but it's really a misnomer to say it's AB first semester and BC second semester. But for just sake of clarifying it, that's what I'm kind of saying. It's really kind of a mishmash if you're taking AB and BC throughout the course of that year. But what's cool about it is you're also taking an honors history of math. Now, why is this important? Because you're going to use 2 class periods. So taking 2 AP classes across 2 class periods as a senior doesn't really help you unless we can cram a 3rd credit into there, which is what we're doing with the honors history of math. So across 2 periods, you have the opportunity to get 105 in AP Calculus AB, 105 in AP Calculus BC, and 103 in honors history of math. Again, for those of you thinking about valedictorian, salutatorian, and class ranking, that's going to be a huge advantage for you that you get 3 credits across 2 periods. Something I neglected to mention with the other class that's true for this one is that the commitment, just like any AP class, is for the full year. Okay, so that you are committing to do this first and second semester. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So what's kind of like our end game here? Are we just offering this class to sophomores and seniors and we're done? No, this is what we're doing. So if you will look at the, I don't know if y'all can see my cursor moving across, but I hope you can. If you will look right here, this right here is for, we're talking about 10th graders predominantly. Now, I think I have a couple of freshmen in here too that took both honors algebra and honors geometry in middle school. But what we're looking at here is if you have taken, the blue background means you took it at your home school, the algebra and the geometry, you are set up to take honors advanced algebra and pre-calculus this upcoming year. That sets you up as juniors to take the classes I just said we're offering to the seniors right now. Are y'all, I hope everybody follows what I'm saying. Now, what's super cool about that is that means your senior year, you can take classes we've never even offered in the Houston County School District. So you're able to take multivariable calculus and linear algebra. We've never even offered those courses. And you know what? Those are college credit courses. Those are classes that get you into schools, Georgia Tech, MIT, Caltech, and other schools like those. Guys, it's a huge deal that we're setting this up so that you can take these extremely advanced classes if that's your interest. But we did not want to leave our seniors out. Now, for our seniors, I know that you're like, what about me, man? I'm in 12th, I'm going into 12th grade. I'm about to be done with this whole thing. We did not want to leave you out. So we are offering you a class this year that would be what the rising sophomores would take in their junior year, which is that AP Calculus AB, AP Calculus BC with history of math thrown in there. Okay, so that was a lot about math. Dr. Ray, give me a thumbs up if I did a good job. If not, okay, that makes me feel good. Awesome. So we've talked about math. So now let's move on to talk about physics. All right. So in the physics, what we're going to have is that same accelerated content. You're taking AP Physics 1, which is offered at several of our high schools. You can take AP Physics 1, but what is not offered anywhere is AP Physics 2. And we're offering AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2 in the course of 1 year. Again, it's a cram course. For those of you that took crams in college, it's the same mentality. We are shoving 2 years into one. So you will take the AP exams in the spring. That's one thing that's going to be a challenge for this is you're going to take AP Physics 1 in the fall, AP Physics 2 in the spring, and you can take the test for both in the spring. You do get those 2 credits in 1 year, and it is that full year commitment. All right, so let's take a look at what happens with physics, because are we just offering this to offer some classes? Absolutely not. Let's look at how this works. If you took algebra in 8th grade, geometry in 9th grade, honors, of course, and honors advanced algebra in 10th grade, you are applicable to take AP Physics 1 and 2 as a junior. If you took, I'm going to drop down here to the rising 12th graders, honors algebra in 8th, geometry in 9th, advanced algebra in 10th, and have pre-calculus, we'd love for you to have that behind you already. You are applicable to take AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2 as a senior. So we really are offering this class to juniors and seniors. So why did we delineate it on the graph? Because if you're a junior, that sets you up for next year taking these calculus AP classes of AP Physics Calculus C of mechanics, and we'll cram that in with AP Physics Calculus or AP Physics C, electricity and magnetism. And this next part, we're going to put a little caveat to, because we got to find the person that can do it, because we're getting into some stuff here. I mean, this is true college level stuff. Advanced physics, principles and robotics combined with environmental physics. Again, college classes we're taking at the high school level. Now you're thinking, but we already do dual enrollment. We do it. You're exactly right. We have dual enrollment. This is different because I'm going to use that same thing I said with AP. AP plus dual enrollment plus. And the plus is you're taking not just the core classes, but now you're taking those advanced classes that are deep into the majors in the various universities. Okay. All right, Dr. Page, how did I do? Okay. I think she gave me a good, so I'm going to keep rolling. All right. So let's talk about the logistics though, because this is a huge thing. This works because what we will do is just like you may be aware, some of you may have done it, some of you may have friends that take classes at the Houston College and Career Academy. Okay, this is the same thing. We would bus you from your high school for 2 periods to the Houston College and Career Academy. We'll take care of the transportation. You don't have to drive or anything like that. We'll take you from your home high school to the College and Career Academy, and we'll take you back to your home high school. It will take us 2 periods to do that. The 2 periods would be either first and second period, third and fourth period, or sixth and seventh period. Those are the 3 blocks, okay? But the cool part is you get 90 minutes. So this is a true block schedule. It's 2 periods of our 7-period day, but it's 90 minutes in class. So you have a longer class period. And I think this is important because I kept talking about important for you to know you have a longer seat time every day because you're going to have so much to learn during the course of. Is my internet okay? Can everybody hear me okay?
You went out, but you're back now.
Okay. I'm not sure how much we lost, so I apologize for that. I got a notification that my internet was unstable. But basically, I'm just going to kind of revoice that for a second. We're going to bus you to and from the Career Academy, 2 periods a day, but you'll actually have seat time of 90 minutes per day. And I think that's important because since we are cramming those courses in, I think it's very important that you have that extended seat time. You're very bright students, but it's also going to be some challenging material. And we want to make sure you have enough seat time to get what you need from it. And like we've talked about before, it is a full year commitment, or we call it a contract that you do for AP courses. All right. Why would I do this? I think I've addressed this a lot along the way, but the biggest thing about why you would do this is it helps you to take the next step in your life. Now, it also has some auxiliary benefits of that 3 points to 5 points for each class. We're going to offer every class gets you at 103 to 105, somewhere in there. Okay. The additional core credits and the additional college credit. But the big thing is that additional college credit, the improved college admission chances for highly selective schools, and of course, parents, listen to me, of course, scholarships. Okay, scholarships are going to be huge. And guys, our goal with this is that it will challenge you. You will feel academically challenged by these classes. We want you to have to think. We want you to go all the way through this program and come out of the end and go, wow, that pushed me. But as a result, I am a better student, a better academic, a better person because of having been through these classes, because you have the gift to handle this. And we want to put that gift to work. And that's really the truth about it. We want you to use your natural gifts and work. Okay. And now let's talk about your instructors. And I'm going to ask Mr. Brock, if he doesn't mind, to kind of come off mute for a second. And let's let him kind of introduce himself and talk a little bit about math.
Thank you for the heads up on the mute. I am James Brock, and this is the most exciting thing ever. Teaching these classes and these kids. I've taught BC Calculus for 10 years now, and outstanding kids, outstanding job at Houston County High School. But this is where you get the best of the best, and the depth that we can go into, and the work that we can do, and the activities that we can do, and the like specific learning and projects that we can work on. I am so excited. I've done this for a long time. I've taught college calculus several years, and a lot of questions I'm answering in the chat here are to former students or people I know from other places, and it's going to be amazing. This is going to be a great experience. There are some logistical issues to work out, but the math is going to work itself out. And if we get here and we can take it to that next level, it'll just be amazing. One question I did want to answer was about BC Calculus that Willie had asked. And a lot of places offer BC as a senior option and AB as a junior option. You will get a full AB credit, that's like 2 semesters in the first semester, and a history of math credit, or half a history of math credit in that first semester, and then a full BC credit in the second semester, and a half of a history and math credit in the second semester. You will only take one exam. It will be BC Calculus, and you will get a sub-score for AB. Both of those scores will be a 5. Okay.
I love that. I love that he just said both those scores will be a 5. That just made my day right there. So,
Dr. Mayfield and
yes, ma'am.
Dr. Brock, if you guys could talk about the schedule for calculus and pre-calculus, that's been a common thread, and I know you know the answer to it.
Absolutely. Dr. Brock, Mr. Brock, do you want to start with that one? You want to talk about your schedule?
Yes. So we polled some of the students that we knew were going to be candidates for BC, and particularly those at Houston County High School, because that's where I'm from. And when I sent that poll out, it was like 3-1. First and second period was the place where that was the best. So the plan is that calculus will be the first block, which is first and second period. And then pre-calculus will be third and fourth period. And then there will be another pre-calculus algebra 2 class, 6th and 7th period. That is currently the plan. I think it's pretty set in stone. And then there will be physics will be 6th and 7th also.
Right.
There will be conflicts that we'll have to work out, and I'm sure that, like, for this opportunity, the like band directors and the theater people will work with you, and the sports people will work with you, because this is such an honor and so prestigious.
And with that being said, thank you, Mr. Brock, because you're exactly right. So let's address band. So this is a conversation, I'm gonna do this real quick, I had with Ms. Thomas earlier today. Which is it, the chicken or the egg? Do brilliant students naturally gravitate toward fine arts, or does fine arts make gifted students? I mean, which way does it work? And by no means does that mean all gifted students are involved in fine arts, or are all fine arts students gifted. It just seems to be a strong correlation between those two. The reason I'm talking about this is because, as a former band director, yes, a long time ago, I was a band director. As a former band director, I would love to have all of my top band kids in 6th period or 7th period, but I also always worked with them, because it just didn't always work. Because you would have a child who was taking an AP course that was only offered 6th period, and your band class was only that band class was only offered 6th period. Well, did you work with that student to make that work? Yes, you did. Whatever it took to make that work. And I mean, I know Mr. Howell at Warner Robins High, or Dr. Howell at Warner Robins High, or Mr. Davis at Houston County High, or any of the band directors in our district would work with you on that. Now, I'm only talking about band directors, but I promise you the same is true about our drama directors, about our chorus directors. I promise you it's true across the board. And I'm even willing to say, even though this is not my area of expertise, and Mr. Seward, you jump in if I say this incorrectly, because this is more in your foray, I do believe that our ROTC folks would work with us as well, because nobody wants to hold you. Yeah, he gave us a thumbs up. Nobody wants to hold a student back. And this is an opportunity for these students to get to do something that no student, and this just, it makes me proud to work with a team that has built this, guys. We're offering these students a chance to do something that no student in the history of the Houston County School District has ever had the opportunity to do. That's huge. And I really have to credit Dr. Scott and Dr. Rogers for looking at this and saying, our students are missing out on what metropolitan area students are getting. And I really want to credit the team that has put this together, because we recognized it and we had jumped on it. And that's why this is happening during the summer, is because after we realized the need and felt the need and saw the need, we couldn't just turn a blind eye to it. See, those of you that are going to be seniors, we couldn't just go, well, you're missing out, sorry. If we knew we needed it, we needed to offer it. And if that meant we had to upset the apple cart a little bit by changing schedules in the summer, then so be it. Because I could not, as someone who really has a heart for students and wants everybody to reach their fullest potential, I could not lay my head down at night knowing that I was denying something that you needed access to. So that's why this is happening during the summer. And again, I'm not trying to turn this into a praise the teaching and learning team, but I can't say enough about these ladies and gentlemen to help us put this together. Mr. Brock and Mr. Fitzgerald, it has been an absolute joy to put this together. I just want to tell you that. And with that being said, let's now talk about Mr. Fitzgerald. He's not here, so we can say whatever we want about him. But I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to tell you that he also came from Houston County High School. And as you can probably guess, the principal at Houston County High School is not my biggest fan right now, because I took two of his amazing teachers. But he has worked with us very nicely, and I appreciate Dr. Jones for that. But he has also taught AP Physics 1 for a number of years. And actually, we didn't offer this, but for a couple of years, many years ago, but he has taught AP Physics 2 as well for those few years that we did offer it in the Houston County School District. But guys, this is the first time we've offered AP Physics 2 in, I know, 15 years. And Dr. Page, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's longer than 15 years since we've offered Physics 2. I think she's muted.
It's been
Okay.
close to that. I think
Yep.
2015, I think, was the last time Mr. Fitzgerald said he taught it.
Okay, so yeah, so we're at 9 years. So yeah, it's been a while. So and he has been teaching physics for our district for 20 years, and he is a master at helping the student make the connection between what they see in the physical world and how physics applies back to that. And I tell you what, if I were your age, I'd be taking me a physics class with Mr. Fitzgerald, and that's the truth. But I am unfortunately way too old for that. So anyway, let's move on to our next section, which is what do you need to do now? Guys, I'm gonna tell you, classes, there's room in all the classes, but we are filling up. I want to encourage you to sign up for these classes. Our goal is to make them small, because we want it to be a personalized learning experience for you. But we want to make sure that we've offered the opportunity to everyone who wants it. So what you have to do is you have to decide which 2 period blocks you can go. Guys, we have to offer AP Physics 1 and 2, 6th and 7th periods. If that just does not work for you, I am taking whatever class you're taking, and that is very important to me, and I cannot adjust that. I respect that 100%, but unfortunately, you're going to have to make a decision. Okay. Now, if it's a class that you're like, man, I'm just in that band class that meets 7th period, talk to your band director. If you're like, man, I'm in the ROTC class that meets 6th period, talk to your ROTC instructor and see if there's not some way that we can work through this problem. And so we want you to think about what electives you're willing to give up. Well, obviously, if you're in a math class, you're going to give up your math class and an elective. If you're in a science class and you're going to take physics, you're going to give up a science class and an elective. So which elective can you give up? We're going to ask you to give us 2 in rank order. Like, oh, this is the one I care about the least. I took this because I needed another slot in my schedule. Or this is one I like a little better, but I'm okay. All right. And then you also get an opportunity to tell us about scheduling concerns in this application. But that QR code right there, you can scan that QR code. It takes you directly to the application. We've shortened the address. It's https://tinyurl.com/ and then all capitals HCBE-HASP. You can see it on the screen. That will take you directly to the application. And of course, you can go to our website. I'm going to say it, www.hcbe.net/HASP. Houston Accelerated Scholars Program. And if you'll scroll about halfway down, you will see the link to the application. We've got to have you apply by July 3rd so that we can start building the rosters, we can start changing schedules, because we want to have this ready for you when school starts. What we don't want to happen, because of the accelerated nature of the program, we do not want you to be dropped into the course 3 weeks, a month into it. You'll be able to catch up, but it'll be hard. What I would much rather have is that you're either in the class on day 1 or you're in the class on day 2 or day 3. We want to get this fixed very quickly for you, because we want to make sure that you have every opportunity to get all the nuances of knowledge you can from this. All right. And then the timeline, like I just said, we're having the Zoom meeting today. Congratulations on being here. The deadline for you to apply is July 3rd. And sometime in July, I'm giving us some wiggle room here, but sometime in the middle of July, you'll be notified as to whether you've been accepted into the program or not. Where that's going to turn into a thing is if we get more students to apply than we can accept. Okay, if we get the right number of students, great, we're going to accept everybody. But it's looking like we're going to have, at least in a few of the classes, more students apply than we can accept. So it will go into a rubric that we'll create that will determine who is applicable for the program at that point. And guys, the only other piece as far as presentation that I have for you here is to tell you thank you for even considering this. But I do want you to know we are offering this because we feel like, and I've said this 100 times over the last month, the best and the brightest in Houston County are equivalent, if not better than the best and the brightest anywhere else in the world. And I want to make sure that our students have the same opportunities that are afforded to students that live in metropolitan areas. And guys, that's kind of it for the presentation. I did it in 30 minutes.
Very good. Hi, I'm Cassie Rafe, and I did want to mention, if you're not sure, if you think that you might be able to make it work in your schedule, but you're not completely sure, go ahead and apply. There's a space where you will tell us what your conflicts are. We'll work as hard as we can to try and make that happen. There are some workarounds that we can suggest that it depends on which school you're at. So I don't want to make a blanket statement about that, but I did, for instance, Mr. Brock had mentioned that his child actually did an online foreign language so that it freed up a schedule. And so, Mr. Brock, would you speak to that for just a second?
Yeah, so I have a freshman who just finished honors geometry, and we were struggling with, like, how do we get her into the program, just like a lot of you are, right? Like, this is coming out in summer, and I know honors kids and I know honors parents, and you've planned out their whole their whole high school career and probably their college career, at least part of it. But our solution was for her to take an online or like virtual language class, and that freed up a period in her schedule, and she was able to do it. So those type of workarounds are possible. It just took a little bit of thought.
Mm-hmm. We have wonderful counselors who are a big help. So if you think that it might be possible, go ahead and apply, and we'll take a look at your schedule and see if we can make it happen for you.
I've seen this question go by a few times. The session, of course, is being recorded, but the chat will also be recorded, but it won't show up like it's showing on your screen now. It will be if it does like it usually does, it will be a separate Word document that I will upload so you'll see the video, and then you can just pull the chat transcription and it will pop up. Okay, so what I think we're going to do now is it is 5:34. So let's take about maybe 10 minutes or so. And we're just going to kind of be quiet, most likely, but jump in if you have questions, guys, that you think we need to answer audibly. But we're just going to kind of be quiet and answer questions in the chat. Or if something has come up several times, feel free to respond to it. And Dr. Rape, Dr. Page, Mr. Brock, Ms. Thomas, Mr. Seward, if you have something you need to throw out there, feel free. And for all those that are listening, if you have something that's just a burning question that you want to ask audibly, feel free to come off mute and ask. Okay, I'm back. The recording will be on the website tomorrow, and that's www.hcbe.net. /HASP. And we're going to have, and where right now you have the link to the Zoom recording, that will disappear. Instead, it will be a link to the recording of the Zoom recording and then the chat transcription.
Dr. Mayfield, I've also put that link several times in the chat. If anyone wants to just go ahead and click on it and save it in their browser space.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Thomas.
One thing,
Go ahead, Mr. Brock.
one thing I see a couple of times is students have already signed up for AP statistics and doing these classes in addition to the AP statistics class. I have had students take BC calculus and statistics in both places. If you have room for it in your schedule, that's great. If you are a freshman moving into sophomore year, I might push off the statistics until like if it was my daughter, I would recommend that. Now there are some kids that math is your jam and you want to do all of it, and you're certainly welcome to that. But I would, you can take statistics at any point.
That was exactly what I was going to say, Mr. Brock. Since it doesn't have a prereq, you can just take it whenever you want. So statistics could be kicked down the road a little bit to where you have more room in your schedule, your junior or senior years. So I think that's a perfectly appropriate response. And I see a question about the online language class. Not entirely sure what we're talking about there.
That is Mr. Brock's solution for his daughter.
Yeah, we're still in the midst of like figuring that out. That was just what we had proposed, and I'm still working with the counselor, so we just haven't gotten there yet. I'm not sure is the answer.
This has come up. I've seen it at least 3 times. If you have a rising 9th grader and you have taken Algebra 1 and geometry in 8th grade or 7th and 8th grade, or however it worked, and you've already got those credits behind you, yes, you are a candidate for this program. Because Algebra 1 and geometry are the 2 prerequisites for honors Algebra 1 and honors geometry are the 2 prerequisites for this program. I believe, if I'm saying that right,
Dr. Mayfield, did you show the slide that had the like progression? I might have missed it when I was doing the chat, but that might help.
Yes, I did. But I tell you what I can do. If you'll give me just a second, I'll be glad to pull that back up. Just bear with me just a second. I'm going to get it there and then I'll share my screen again. So, okay, are you seeing it? Okay, perfect. So just to reiterate, right here, we said 8th and 9th grade, but it really could be all before high school if you took it, if you did it that route. But the blue are the classes that you take at your home school. And then the green are the classes that we would offer at the College and Career Academy. And this is for the math classes. And then we have the same thing, if it'll go, we have the same thing for the physics classes. You may question, why is it all math prerequisite for physics? And I would say, because physics is a lot of math. And so those are the prerequisites. As a matter of fact, to take Physics 2, and we've got it listed down here, but to take the AP Physics 2, you will need to be in pre-calculus or calculus or have completed pre-calculus or calculus. Dr. Page, please correct me if I'm wrong on that. You're muted, Dr. Page.
I'm sorry, I was answering a question in the chat. What were you saying? Can you say that again?
Sure. That what you would need to do, but if you would like to take the AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2, you either need to have completed pre-cal and cal, or you are enrolled in pre-cal or cal. Is that correct?
Partially, for AP Physics 1, you just have to have taken geometry, and you could even be in Algebra 2. But for AP Physics 2, that's where the pre-calculus comes in.
Right.
So if you're in pre-calculus or have taken it, then you're great for both of those courses.
Perfect. And since we're teaching it as a cram, that's why I say you need to be either in pre-cal or have pre-cal or calculus. Okay, good deal. Thank you. All right, so that's the physics, and I'll go back to the math just so everybody can see it. Ben, I'll go ahead and jump on that one. We are going to be, once we get the applications in, we're going to work with each school for that. So is it wrong for you to talk to your school counselor? No, you're welcome to talk to your school counselor, but just know that we're going to do that as well, because we want to make sure that we are in communication with them as soon as they get back on contract. Counselors are not full year employees. They're off for the summer, but as soon as they get back on contract, that's actually the reason for the July 3rd, is so that we have all of this ready to give to them as soon as they come back. Okay.
So there's this question about transport time. There's not going to be, so since you're getting on the bus, there won't be like an attendance issue. I know students will arrive at like slightly different times, and there will be some warm-up work that will be associated and some cool down work to get them through that transition. Like students are within about 5 minutes arriving. Like Perry takes a little bit longer to get to the Career Academy than HOCO. But they won't be, taken away from class time for that. Hope that answers that question. I was struggling with how to type that.
Right. Mr. Stewart, if you want to address that as well, feel free, since that's in your area.
Sure. I don't know why it didn't show up on my chat, but it's kind of jumping all over the place. So we already spoke to that at the beginning, or Dr. Mayfield did, that it's built into those 2 periods, the transportation time to and from. Mr. Brock made a great point. Some schools do get there before others, and some schools leave a little before others do when the class period is over. They'll call for each school individually to leave, and there's usually about a 5-minute difference between the schools when they leave, and a lot of those times can be accounted for by some warm-up activities, etc., at the beginning, and then just some extra time to finish work if you're a closer school to the campus towards the end of the period. But as far as attendance and things like that are concerned, that's all of those kinks have been worked out in the years that we've been doing our block schedule at the Career Academy.
Thank you. To Willie, yes, AP physics will only be offered during 6th and 7th block. The reason for that is Mr. Fitzgerald is still going to be teaching at HOCO, first period, second period, third period, and fourth period. 5th period, he will be transitioning to the Career Academy, and he will be teaching the AP physics in 6th and 7th period, or that 3rd block at the Career Academy. I've had several of you ask, I'm just watching it go by, for a schedule. So what I will do, I'll try to have this tomorrow, but I'm not going to promise this. I'll upload the schedule on the website as well, just so you can see which periods, which classes will be offered. Okay. And 2 of them are singletons, the calculus ABC, AP, I'm going to say it right. The AP calculus ABC is offered only once this year, and the AP Physics 1 and 2 is offered only once. But the Honors Advanced Algebra and AP Pre-Calculus will be offered twice. So there is some variance in that schedule. Oh, thank you, Dr. Rape. As I was saying it, you typed it. Okay, let's take questions for about 4 more minutes, and I think we will call it. If you need to see your student's actual schedule, I think I've seen that a few times. I don't know what electives they signed up for, all that stuff. The school can help you with that. Now, you may have to wait till the counselors come back on contract, but the school can help you. My advice there would be go ahead and let your students sign up for this course. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I'd rather do that than then miss the opportunity. Tony, that's the same question. Always feel free to contact your school, but be aware the counselors are, if you need more help with your schedule, but be aware the counselors are off contract. So they probably will not be able to help you till they come back on contract, which I want to say, I wish I had that in front of me. It's mid-July. It's somewhere around mid-July. I don't know the actual date in front of me. I apologize. Dr. Wright, would you look at that question from Taylor? Let's make sure there's not a glitch in the application. Haley, I've done the application. I've never seen that problem. Is it a scrolling issue maybe? Are you not seeing the whole front page? I tell you what, Taylor, do this. Reach out to us tomorrow. You're welcome to email me, elgin.mayfield@hcbe.net, and we will work with you individually because I want to make sure that you get the whatever you need help with so we can get that. And I see Kimberly Sexton saying they're having the same issue. We will check the application. We've checked it 100 times. It was working, but we can certainly make sure.
I think I can answer that for Taylor. I think there's a math page and a science page because you won't be taking both the AP Calculus and the Enhanced Advanced Algebra AP Pre-Cal. So if you wanted to do both, you could, but you'll put your math on one page, you'll put your science on the other.
Thank you, Dr. Rape. So if I'm hearing that right, if you want to do math and science, you apply twice. Is that correct?
There are two different pages. Am I correct in this, Mr. Brock? Am I saying this correctly? There's a math page and there's a physics page.
Yeah, so if you want to apply to both, you have to fill out the application twice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you click the, I hope this is answering that question where you're like trying to sign up for both. But I think you have to fill out the application twice.
Oh, actually, I think I've fixed that, but
Okay.
Oh, did you?
Well, let me
Yeah.
just say this. If you're having trouble with the application, I don't know another way to say this. The application is never going to keep you from being a member of this. You email me, elgin.mayfield, or you can email just email me, elgin.mayfield, ELGIN.MAYFIELD @HCBE, that's Houston County Board Education.net. And if you're having trouble with the application, what I'll do is I'll forward that to the appropriate people to make sure that you can get help with that. And I'm putting my email address in here right now. Oh, sorry, I did that as a direct message.
if you have questions about your schedule, like for instance, one person just said, didn't remember, you may not know yet what your electives were, you can call us or email us and we will take a look and see and tell you what you've got so that you can be more specific. If you'll email elgin.mayfield@hcbe.net, he will forward it to one of us who can look it up and answer your questions. There's a question, if you get into this program, are you guaranteed the following years?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
As long as you have the grades, absolutely. All right, guys, I've got 5:51. I see questions still coming in, but I think at this time, out of respect for the employees that have been here since a little bit before 8 this morning, I'm gonna have to give this one a call. But so let's do one or two more questions and I think we're done. I see Kimberly Sexton got one in just at the last second. Seems like we are having some issues with the application.
Okay. Like, so I looked at I just pulled up the application, and there was it was supposed to take you to a specific section, and that was removed from the application. So
I wonder who did that.
it will just put in A is great on those sections. And like if it says for physics, just skip that part.
We will work on the application and make sure it's working appropriately. I promise it was working, but we'll make sure I don't know if Google got overwhelmed or somebody clicked something, but we'll make sure it's working appropriately.
Yeah, and I'm still getting like as we're talking, I can see people putting in the and like people are applying to all of the different programs as we talk. So
Awesome. All right, wonderful. Okay, guys, so I thank you so much for participating this afternoon. Again, if you have further questions, you are welcome. So let's just go through the list. You're welcome to reach out to me, elgin.mayfield@hcbe.net. I saw where Dr. Page gave her email address for physics questions at nicole.page@hcbe.net. And her name is without an H, so it's Nicole. Okay. And you're welcome to reach out to us. Also, for AP or honors questions, you can reach out to alethea.thomas. Let me tell you all the secret. All right, I'm going to teach y'all the email secret of Houston County School District. Are you ready? It's our first name dot last name at hcbe.net. So if you know the person's name, you know how to email them. That's the truth of the matter. Okay. But I will tell you this in all sincerity, put something in the subject line so we know it's not spam, because a lot of times from private email addresses, especially like Hotmail or AOL. Yeah, I know some of you still use AOL. I didn't know it still existed till I saw it. But anything like that, it will probably get caught in our spam. So we only get to see that at the end of the day. So we need to see something in the subject line so we know to pull that down. Okay. Out of the spam blocker. Cool. All right, and Tom Seward's giving his, but like I said, y'all know our secret now. You're in on it. Okay, so feel free to reach out to us. That's what we are here for. We want this program to be a success for you and for your students and students that are listening. We want this success. We want you to have every opportunity to succeed that is possible for us to put this out there. So this will get loaded tomorrow onto the website, hcbe.net/HASP, and we will see everybody very soon. Thank you so much for joining, and we appreciate you guys. Bye, everybody.